Christian McCaffrey, Fred Warner, and the San Francisco 49ers head to Tampa to face Baker Mayfield, Emeka Egbuka, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. An awesome 4-1 matchup. This absolutely could be the game of the week. Now, before we fully dive into it, have to understand the injuries that some of these teams are dealing with out for the season. Nick Bosa, for example. The 49ers have had George Kittle out for a while. It does look like a long shot he could return, but that does not look like it will happen. On the other side of that, for Tampa, doesn't quite look like Mike Evans is going to play as of this stage, but then there's some of the unknowns, like Brock Purdy. Could he return? It's looking like that's a no as well, but the way Mac Jones has played, not exactly looking like San Francisco 49er fans are just going to be down in the dumps if they see their man Mac Jones trot out there after that warrior performance against the LA Rams. And then Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, still don't have the full idea of whether or not those guys will play. But once again, they were able to beat one of the best teams in football that it's looked like in the early stages of the season in LA, with the dynamic offense that they possess and crazy dominant front seven that this San Francisco team is built well. They are coached by one of the best in Shanahan, and against Tampa Bay, that team will not feel sorry for them because Bucky Irving will be missing this game as well, but they have one of the best young wide receivers in the National Football League, Emeka Egbuka. Let's take a second here and just give this man some praise. 5 games, he's closing on 500 yards. He's got 5 touchdowns. It looked like after week 1 that this guy was just a 6-year veteran. The way that he's unselfish and willing to take on every blocking assignment. He doesn't drop any passes. He is explosive off the line of scrimmage, creates separation at the top of his route, so he's very tough to cover. I mean, this guy is exactly everything that you want and more than worth what they took on him, taken in the middle of that 2025 NFL draft. That's what we will talk about first, because the Los Angeles Rams had a lot of success throwing the football against the Niners. You can't really question much of that, the way that Puka Nacua continues to be dominant, a receiving touchdown down by the red zone. He was targeted early and often. I see Tampa Bay going back to the well with Emeka Egbuka and saying that I know he's a rookie, but this is still a national champion. He was very successful in college with that 4-year career there. Most Buckeyes stay for 3. He came back the 4th year to help mentor this kid in Jeremiah Smith, who looks like he could be the greatest, certainly of this 25-year generation of new up-and-comers. So Emeka's got that trait of leadership to him as well as a rookie that is still very rare to find. He's a tough cover. I've got him having a lot of success against San Francisco. He's going to have success pretty much against any offense unless they do decide what teams like to do to Smith in college, which is to double team him and force you to go to somewhere else. And that is something that Baker Mayfield did pretty well still. Cade Otton, the tight end, having a good performance. Tez Johnson, I saw Tez Johnson play at the Rose Bowl this past year. I live out in Los Angeles in the South Bay. This kid is shifty. Just because he ran a 4.5 40-yard dash does not mean he doesn't have short area quickness to create easy separation on the intermediate and short throws to be able to bring this guy down. Also, he's a monster and run after the catch. He's tough. And then the run game production that they had with Rashad Wright was fine. Did he have the yards per carry? The yards, not a whole lot, but he did have the 2 rushing touchdowns. For the San Francisco 49ers, they possess a weapon in Christian McCaffrey that is incredible. When he is healthy, he is always a top 3 back. Consistently, every year, practically, you go back through his entire career. When this man is healthy, he is a top 3 running back. You get the football to him 30 times a game, no questions asked. His ability against the Los Angeles Rams, Mac Jones getting the football to him any chance he could, out in the flat, running routes. He can run pretty much any route on the route tree, handing him the football. He's such a chess piece that you can use in pretty much any spot. I mean, he's one of the leaders in the NFL in receiving. He's got 39 receptions, 390 yards, and 3 touchdowns 18 first downs he's picked up receiving. That's not even going into his numbers so far in the season. He actually hasn't run for a rushing touchdown on the season, but he's got 280 rushing yards. The yards per carry hasn't quite been there. So why do you think the receiving's been so good? Because Kyle Shanahan is seeing some of that lack of production from his run game. I mean, they're only running the football for 3.1 a carry. For someone that comes from his dad's offense, the Matt LaFleur's of the world, they really put an emphasis on running the football. But if you can't, then you got to have receiving backs. Guys like Josh Jacobs, Christian McCaffrey that can catch the football out of the backfield, that can consistently get open, that are able to have great contact balance, that finish runs. And what that means is when you are contacted, you're still getting another yard or two once you're contacted. So it turns 3-yard runs into 5-yard runs once the football is in your hands out in the flat. And that's such a difference between being set up with 2nd and 7, 2nd and 5. You still are balanced. You can run the ball 2nd and 5. You can throw it 2nd and 7. Typically looks like a down where you're going to have to drop back and pass to try and pick up that first down and move the sticks. Now, where have they gone? Kendrick Bourne, I haven't even gone into this guy. Are you kidding me with that performance against Los Angeles Rams? A career game, unbelievable. It takes you back to 2021 with the New England Patriots, him and Mac Jones together. But this was against the Rams and that defense and that pass rush, and they're able to limit the effect of Jared Verse, of Braden Fisk, of Byron Young, Colby Turner. I mean, that Rams front is ferocious, a top 5 unit in the league, and San Francisco was in rhythm. That's how you know the coaching has been great, because you're able to mitigate what is a great front seven, getting the ball out of Mac Jones' hands quicker. Now, when we really break this one down, and you have a great defensive coordinator / head coach in Todd Bowles, he's a Super Bowl champion. He won that thing for you when Bruce Arians back in 2020. Doing it against the Packers and high-flying offense, doing it against the Kansas City Chiefs. He's going to see the way Mac Jones played, and that he was, I believe, 5 of 9 or 5 of 10 passing on throws beyond 10 yards on the day. He had a couple of really nice throws. Got to give Mac Jones all the credit. All of the talk around here in Los Angeles was all the short stuff. Mac Jones didn't do anything on the day. He just kept checking it down. You go back and watch it. I rewatched the full game twice, looked at some of the film. Mac Jones was accurate. He still hit some really big throws over the middle, and a lot of them were to Kendrick Bourne. Now, Tampa Bay is going to take away the short stuff. You would have to imagine they're going to look at this matchup and decide, all right, Mac Jones, if he can hit those over the middle and gash us the way Sam Darnold was last week, we're going to have to live with that. But we are not going to allow them to just march down the field in overtime, or the kick was terrible by LA. He gave the ball to San Francisco at the 40. We're not going to allow them to get 6 by 5 by 8 by 11 and just march their way down the field for an easy couple of points pretty much every time that they touch the football. That won't be happening for Tampa Bay. That's my assumption, that Todd Bowles is going to look at that and say, hey, if they hit us over the top to Kendrick Bourne again, we're going to have to live with that. If Christian McCaffrey is able to be hit on a wheel route from Mac Jones, we're going to have to live with that. But we're not going to let them just sit there and check it down 6 yards by 7 and then just kill us with 1,000 cuts. Let them kill us with 3 or 4 big plays that kill us, but we just don't want to give away that stuff. If I watch this game and I see the San Francisco 49ers methodically march down the field with open throws like they did against the Rams, I'm going to start questioning some of these defensive coordinators and stylistically what they want to do. It helps now to support that is like, hey, Mac Jones still, we want to prove. It was obvious that the Rams' defensive ideology was we're going to make Mac Jones march the football down the field and beat us. Still, you have to make him earn it a little bit more, mixing up a bit more man coverage and trying to make the throws a little bit in tighter windows. That's what I'm imagining Tampa Bay will do. Now, defensively, San Francisco going up against this Tampa Bay offense, I just got to say it. You have to find a way to limit Emeka Egbuka and make Baker Mayfield go somewhere else, like to Cade Otton. I don't understand when teams are going into a matchup when there is a dominant number one wide receiver, and then they're just continuing to get the football over and over. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 132 yards, 8 catches on 9 targets. Egbuka, 7 catches, 163, a touchdown on 7 targets. Every time he was targeted, he was catching the football. What does that mean? You have to do a better job of trying to take him away in this game. Make them go to Chris Godwin, see if Godwin still has the same juice after the ankle injury from a season ago. Tez Johnson, the other rookie, try and get the ball forced a little bit more to him. That's the thing about these really good teams like San Francisco or Tampa Bay. I'm diving into this matchup trying to make it sound a little bit simple, which it can be. Try and take away the simple stuff, take away the Bucs' best receiver, make him go somewhere else, which Baker Mayfield is more than willing to do. Look, I'm trying to say that just to make it a little bit harder for him on the big third downs or in opportunities when they can take a shot, just try and limit them. But more often than that, though, Baker Mayfield is going to beat you. San Francisco, I don't think that they're going to be able to stop them enough. I think that the Bucs are able to put up some points in this football game. I've got them winning 27-20 against San Francisco. I believe that Tampa makes the necessary adjustments and that San Francisco can limit them somewhat. I'm keeping Egbuka out of the middle. I'm keeping Tez Johnson out of the middle, away from the hitman, the bona fide killer, and Fred Warner, still probably, in my opinion, the best inside off-ball linebacker in the National Football League. He's still a true monster. It's tough again. There's no Bucky for Tampa. There's probably no Brock Purdy for San Francisco, your starting quarterback, where you have a little bit of a higher ceiling and a higher floor than what you have. He re-aggravates the turf toe against the Jags. But look, if we could see this a rematch maybe in the playoffs, then it would be fun if all these guys can be healthy and we can dive in a little bit deeper to the X's and O's and what can happen once you have those higher ceilings for these two teams. And then now, with what you have, you still got to go out there and play and compete in what will be a high-octane, some good defense thrown out in this game. The last thing we'll go over here is what the teams have looked like. When you have two teams with 4-1 records, you can expect that statistically they stack up pretty well. San Francisco, 5th in yards per game, incredible. Without your Kittle, without Brandon Ayuk the entire season. They are 22nd, though, in points. This team needs to score more points. They've been getting down the field. You just have to see them punch it in more often. Defensively, 15th in yards per game, 6th in points. They kind of flipped that a little bit on the statistics side. They've been great, like you saw inside the red zone against the Rams. They force the fumble. Are you kidding me? They forced the fumble at the 1-yard line. Unbelievable job by the former Texas Longhorn. And the Blake Corum fumble in this game. They did a great job stopping on 4th and 1. That's how you stop and limit teams not scoring a whole bunch of points. The Bucs defense has been a bit more susceptible. It hurts you in the 35 points. Seattle gave up 23rd in points, 11th in yards per game. But offensively, easily a top 8-10 offense in the NFL. 10th in yards per game, a 354 game, and 7th in points, averaging about 4 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals with 27 points a game. Again, I've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if I can speak English. I've got them winning this game. A bit more faith in Baker than Mac Jones. Nothing to take away from Mac Jones. He has been unbelievable. But I am going with Tampa. Let me know down below in the comments whether or not you agree. You think Tampa will drop this one at home, or whether you think San Francisco can pull it out, or whether or not you think I'm wrong. Come at me in the comments. Break apart what you think I'm doing with the analysis, with how I think this game will go. I just want to hear from you guys, engage with you more often so that we can get this community continue to build some steam, and everybody can come together, enjoy, analyze, and then we can break the game down and see where I was right or maybe where I was wrong in the prediction. I appreciate you so much. If you enjoyed this Blitz with Blender video, please subscribe for more NFL content. I make NFL and college videos every day. It's my favorite thing to do. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Appreciate it. Best player in college football. That Georgia and Ohio State game, New Year's Eve, is going to be a classic.
Josh Blunder. Hi, everybody. I'm Josh Blunder. To the 40, 35, 30. Espinosa to the 20.